Well, it's been a stunning turnaround of events here in Gaddafi Stadium, Lahore, courtesy this man, Irfan Khan Niazi. What a moment and what a match. We've had two back-to-back thrillers here at Gaddafi Stadium, and that celebration really tells you a story. Obviously, disappointment for the Lahore Qalandars fans. They were in a position to really win this game, but Irfan Khan Niazi had other plans, made 48 in the last 2.3 overs, and the Kings, you can tell that they're equally amazed at this particular outcome. What a match, what a performance by Irfan Khan Niazi. Well, it was a rain-interrupted game overall, but Naeem at the top doing really well for Lahore Qalandars. They kept the belief in him and he came through just at the right time. They made 160 for 8. Remember, the match was reduced to 50 overs. And from a Kings perspective, it was Irfan Khan Niazi with a bat that took them over the line. 48 not out of just 21 balls. You had contributions from Saad, Seifert and Warner, but in the end, Karachi Kings winning comfortably. But this is what the points table now looks like. Karachi Kings on 10 points with Islamabad United. Islamabad United ahead on net run rate. Lahore Qalandars on 9. Zalmi on 6 and Multan Sultans on 2. Well, it's great to be back on pitch side. What a game of cricket we've had here in the HBL PSL. Just the kind of game that everybody wanted. We saw one yesterday, and today there was that moment where you felt like Lahore Qalandars perhaps has things under control. But the man in our studio today had different plans. So I think it's time to talk to him and find out, how he went about his business. Thank you so much, Irfan Khan Niazi, for joining us. Alongside Irfan Khan Niazi, I've got Arooj Mumtaz. Irfan, आज तो आपने कमाल ही कर दिया. जिस किस्म की आपने इनिंग्स खेली, वाकई लाहौर कलंदर्स के फैंस की डिसअपॉइंटमेंट जो नज़र आ रही थी, अभी जो एक ग्लिम्स आया था, वो आपको बता रही है कि वो खुद शॉक में चले गए. आपने उनको शॉक कर दिया अपनी इनिंग्स से. तो एक पॉइंट पे 11 बॉलों में 14 रन्स थे आपके, तो उसके बाद क्या हुआ?
हाँ, देखें, इस तरह की इनिंग पेंडिंग थी मेरे ऊपर काफ़ी दिनों से. मैं खुद भी काफ़ी डाउन था कि मेरे से उस तरह परफॉर्म नहीं हो रहा था. लेकिन कोचेज़ की तरफ से बड़ा बैक किया, उन्होंने बड़ा बैक किया और उन्होंने बोला कि आप अपने ऊपर बिलीव रखो, आप कर सकते हो. और देखें, जो इस तरह की इनिंग्स होती हैं वो आपकी टीम को उठाती हैं और आपका मोरल अप करती हैं. तो बस
जी रोज आपके मुंह में बहुत बड़ी स्माइल है. मेरा ख्याल है आप कुछ पूछना चाह रही हैं उनसे.
इन्होंने जितने आसानी से कहते हैं ना, तो बस बहुत अच्छी एक बात की इरफान ने, जब सिकंदर ने इनसे पोस्ट मैच में बात की कि ये आपने क्या किया, तो ही सेड बिलीव. क्योंकि जब व्हेन यू पुट इन द वर्क, जब आप उस प्रोसेस से गुजरते हैं, यू पुट इन द हार्ड यार्ड्स, प्रॉब्ली वन ऑफ द फिटेस्ट गोइंग अराउंड. इनका वर्क एथिक बहुत अच्छा है, तो इस किस्म की इनिंग्स फिर आ जाती है. क्योंकि जब आपका वर्क एथिक अच्छा होता है, यू फॉलो द प्रोसेसेस, तो वो पेंडिंग थी. इन्होंने कहा, डेविड वार्नर ने पोस्ट मैच पे कहा कि वी बिलीव्ड इन हिम एंड वी केप्ट गिविंग हिम चांसेस फॉर हिम टू कम थ्रू एंड ही केम इन वंडर्स. मतलब आखिरी 3 ओवर में 48 रन चाहिए थे और उस वक्त शाहीन अपने आप को लेकर आए और हारिस को दिए ताकि मुश्किल ओवर वो करा लें. अक्सर ये होता है कि आप वेट करते हैं कि जो तीसरा ओवर कौन कराएगा, उस पर रन कर लेंगे. बट बहुत ही अच्छी हिटिंग की एंड इट वाज कंट्रोल्ड हिटिंग. That was really good to watch.
Absolutely. जैसे उन्होंने कहा कंट्रोल्ड हिटिंग, तो पावर के बारे में आपका द क्रिकेटिंग फ्रेटर्निटी बड़ी बात होती है कि किस तरह he's got a lot of power in his hands and just generally as well कि जी बहुत फिट हैं, अपनी फिटनेस का ख्याल रखते हैं. तो क्या करते हैं फिटनेस के हवाले से थोड़ा सा इसमें बताएं, क्योंकि ऑब्वियसली इस फॉर्मेट में बहुत ज़रूरी है.
देखें, मैं डिफरेंट गेम्स खेलता हूँ और जितनी भी स्पोर्ट्स है मैं कोशिश करता हूँ खेलूँ डिफरेंट गेम, ताकि आप एक किस्म की क्रिकेट, मतलब एक गेम खेल के आप बोर होना शुरू हो जाते हो, तो आप डिफरेंट गेम खेलते हो तो आपकी एक्टिविटी भी होती रहती है और आप साथ में इंजॉय भी करते रहते हैं.
किस तरह की गेम्स?
आप फुटसल हो गई, वो पैडल गेम हो गई, डिफरेंट गेम. स्विमिंग करता रहता हूँ, तो इनसे फिटनेस का थोड़ा सा होता रहता है.
ज़ैनब, आपने विनिंग शॉट में देखा होगा कि इनके मसल्स यहाँ बैठे हुए थे. अभी इन्होंने आस्ती नीचे किए. ज़रा क्राउड को फिर से दिखा दें. मतलब ये तो जरा प्लीज देख एक दफ़ा फिर यू टॉकिंग अबाउट हिज मसल्स रियली बिग, यू नो, आई मीन आई थिंक मल्टी स्पोर्ट्स के एक ये फ़ायदा ज़रूर होता है कि ये बॉडी इन ट्यून, ही इज़ आई थिंक नेचुरली एथलेटिक ऑल्सो. तो ये ना कहें कि क्रिकेट खेल खेल के बोर हो जाते हैं. अभी तो शुरू हुआ है सफ़र.
जो आप एक गेम बार बार खेलते हो, लाइक बोर नहीं होते, लेकिन आप डिफरेंट गेम खेलते हो तो आप उसमें आपकी फिटनेस भी होती रहती है और आपकी एंजॉयमेंट भी चलती रहती है सब.
अच्छा, आपने बिलीफ की बात की कि किस तरह से आपके अंदर स्कोर नहीं हो रहा था लेकिन आपके अंदर बिलीफ मैनेजमेंट का था. तो जब आप बैटिंग करने आ रहे थे और आपने रिक्वायर्ड रन रेट की तरफ एक दफ़ा नज़र डाली और विकेट्स इन हैंड देखी, तो क्या सोचा या क्या पैगाम मिला आपको वार्नर की तरफ से या फिर जनरली जो आपकी मैनेजमेंट है?
हाँ, देखें, मसरूर पे बैठे हुए थे वहाँ पे. मसरूर भाई ने मुझे बोला कि आप कर सकते हो, आराम से हो जाएंगे रन्स. और फिर मैं इसी तरह जब क्रीज पे आया तो मैंने अर्ली ऑन टाइम लिया, मैं आराम से खेला. मैंने अपने आप को वहाँ पे कंडीशंस को अडॉप्ट करने के लिए थोड़ा सा टाइम दिया और उसके बाद जब टाइम आया तो मैंने उसको कैश इन करने की कोशिश की.
अच्छा, कराची किंग्स एक मैच जीता है, एक मैच हारा. अभी तक उनका जो HBL PSL ऐसे चल रहा है और ऑब्वियसली आज तो जीता ही है. क्या लगता है कि कौन से ऐसे एरियाज़ हैं जो आपने देखे हो, जो आप एज ए टीम जब डिस्कस करते हो कि ये एरियाज़ हैं जिन पर हमें थोड़ा भी काम करने की ज़रूरत है, क्योंकि आपके पास प्लेयर्स तो ऑन पेपर बहुत अच्छी टीम है.
हाँ, देखें, पहले 1-2 मैचेस में या 3-4 मैचेस में आप कह सकते हैं कि मिडिल ऑर्डर में हम थोड़ा स्ट्रगल कर रहे थे मेरी वजह से, और वहाँ पे खुशदिल भाई बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहे थे. और तो मेरी परफॉर्मेंस कुछ पेंडिंग थी मिडिल ऑर्डर में, और इसी तरह बॉलिंग बहुत अच्छी हो रही थी. लेकिन आज के मैच में थोड़े से हमने रन एक्स्ट्रा कराए. लेकिन अब जो टीम का मोराल है वो ऐसा ऐसा कम्बिनेशन बढ़ता जा रहा है और हमें टीम का माहौल बहुत अच्छा हो गया. तो मुझे उम्मीद है कि आगे वाले मैचेस इंशाल्लाह अच्छे होंगे.
फील्ड का बताएं, जब फील्ड आके आपने असेस की तो सोचा हुआ था कि जी मैंने इस बॉलर को टारगेट करना है, इतना टाइम तो था नहीं आपके पास, मतलब कुछ ही ओवर बचे थे, तो मतलब प्लान था कि दिस इज़ व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू, कोई प्री मेडिटेटेड थॉट्स, या फिर वाज इट रियली कि आई एम जस्ट गोइंग टू सी द बॉल एंड हिट इट?
देखें, मैंने पहले भी बोला कि जितने भी लाहौर के बॉलर्स हैं वो पाकिस्तान के सबसे बेस्ट बॉलर्स में से हैं. तो आपके पास T20 में इतना टाइम नहीं होता कि आप एक आधे बॉलर के लिए खड़े रहें. वहाँ पे आपको अच्छे बॉलर्स को भी आपने बॉल को रिस्पेक्ट देनी है, ना कि बॉलर को वहाँ पे. तो जो बुरा बॉल मुझे मिलता था तो मैं उस पर पूरा उसको कैश ऑन करने की कोशिश करता था.
नहीं, ज़बरदस्त. आपकी ऑब्वियसली जो थॉट प्रोसेस है वो बहुत क्लियर नज़र आ रहा है. वार्नर की कैप्टनसी का बताएं, कैसे कैप्टन है? कई कैप्टन्स होते हैं जो बहुत इन्वॉल्व होते हैं, जो बहुत ज़्यादा सॉर्ट ऑफ अथॉरिटेटिव होते हैं, और कई कैप्टन्स होते हैं जो ज़रा काम रहते हैं. तो आपको उनकी कैप्टनसी कैसी लगती है?
इंजॉय करते रहते हैं हम ऑफ द फील्ड, और जब लेकिन
पैडल खेलते रहते हैं
फुटबॉल इवन लाइक सारी एक्टिविटीज़ हम करते हैं ऑफ द फील्ड. लेकिन जब ऑन द फील्ड हम आते हैं, सारे प्लेयर्स प्रोफेशनल हैं तो सारे सीरियस रहते हैं गेम को लेके, लेकिन वो ऑन द फील्ड भी बड़े कूल रहते हैं मेरे.
नहीं, ये तो बड़ी अच्छी बात है कि वो एक कूलनेस उनकी तरफ से नज़र आती है. अच्छा, अब ये बताएं कि ऑब्वियसली ये वाला मैच तो आप लोगों ने जीत लिया और बड़े उसमें, अगले मैच में कराची किंग्स के फैंस क्या उम्मीद करें कि अब ये वाला मैच जीत गए हैं तो अब अगला वाला मैच कहीं हार तो नहीं जाएंगे, जो पैटर्न रहा है अभी तक?
नहीं, इंशाल्लाह अब आने वाले मैचेस जितने भी होंगे वो हमारे लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है, क्योंकि आगे जितने भी मैचेस हैं वो अच्छे मैचेस हैं. आगे प्ले ऑफ है और लाइक अच्छी गेम्स हैं, तो हम कोशिश करेंगे कि अपना मोमेंटम जो हमारा अब बना है हम उसको कैरी ऑन करें और आगे वाली गेम में भी विन करें.
एक और, हाँ रूजा,
मैं सिर्फ ये पूछ रही कि जब हम लंबी हिटें मारते हैं, ऑब्वियसली आप नेट्स में भी ये प्लान करते हैं, बट अक्सर होता है कि अगर लेंथ बॉल आएगा तो या तो मैं हट के उसको ऑफ साइड के ऊपर से भी खेल सकता हूँ, लेग साइड पे भी खेल सकता हूँ. ये आपने कहीं सोचा हुआ था कि यार अगर बॉल इधर आएगा तो मैं ये 2 शॉट्स पे जाऊँगा? उस किस्म की थोड़ी सी प्लानिंग जब क्रीज पे होती है, क्योंकि आपने शुरू में एक बहुत अच्छी बात की कि बॉलर को नहीं, जो बॉल हो रही है उसके हिसाब से खेला जाए.
जी बिल्कुल. माइंड में 2-3 शॉट्स होते हैं. फील्ड के हिसाब से भी आपको फील्डिंग के हिसाब से देखना होता है कि कहाँ पे गैप्स हैं, और फिर आपके माइंड में सारा होता है कि अगर मुझे आउटसाइड ऑफ मिलेगी तो मैं ऑफ साइड पे खेलूँगा, अगर मेरी बॉडी के अंदर मिलेगी तो मैं कहाँ मुझे गैप मिल रहे हैं. तो बस मेरा यही था कि मैं फील्डिंग को यूटिलाइज करके खेलता रहूँ.
ठीक है, ये बताएं कि ऑन अ लाइटर नोट किसके साथ सबसे ज़्यादा बनती है टीम में? ये दोस्ती किसके साथ?
टीम में टू बी ऑनेस्ट सबके साथ इवन मैनेजमेंट के साथ भी लाइक फ्रेंडली माहौल है हमारी मैनेजमेंट
उनके साथ बनती है.
टाइम सबसे ज़्यादा साद बे के साथ गुजरता है. और हसन भाई एंजॉय कराते रहते हैं।
शैतानी कौन करता है? सबसे ज्यादा नाम देना पड़ेगा ना, छुट्टी नहीं होगी ना ये शो खत्म
मैं
होगा।
नाम नहीं भी लूंगा तो आप पहचान लेंगे।
जरा बता
हसन
दो।
अली।
हसन
Hassan Ali. I mean, no surprises there whatsoever. But chale, on that fun note, I'm going to let you go because I'm sure आपने जाके थोड़ा relax भी करना है, unwind भी करना है, enjoy भी करना है. So thank you so much, Irfan. All the best for the remaining games.
थैंक्स सो मच।
And रोज आप यहीं पे हैं.
मैं कहीं नहीं जा
ज़्यादा
रही।
खुश ना हो. यहीं पे हो. आप यहीं पे हो.
आप ब्रेक पे ले जाए हमें।
चलें ठीक है जी. On that note, we're going to take a short break. It's been an absolute stunning innings from Irfan Khan Niazi to take Karachi Kings over the line. And there's so much more to discuss, but all of that after the short break. Back on pitch side and just discussing what a fabulous win it's been for Karachi Kings. And of course, the man of the moment, the man of the hour is none other than Irfan Niazi. He's also our player of the match today.
Yeah, brilliant. We just spoken to him and we can relive this, and I think all of Pakistan will enjoy it from a point of view. There was a fantastic innings. It rained sixes in Lahore from Karachi, and the best part was he took two of the finest bowlers in world cricket for 41 runs in their 2 overs to get 48 not out himself and get the winning moment also.
Well, a lot of calmness and composure demonstrated by Irfan Khan Niazi, and you need that as a batter. And to talk about more about that, I've got another opener, in the house who can really tell us more about how much pressure you have to entail as a batter. Amir Sohail joins us. Amir bhai, सवाल मेरा यही है आपसे. The question is the same, that keeping your nerves in such conditions when it seems like the match perhaps was went away from them. What a knock it was by Irfan
It was
Khan.
brilliant, and the special thing about that knock was he took on Shaheen Shah Afridi, and then it was Haris Rauf, and there was a lot of thinking behind that. It was not that he was wafting his bat at everything. He was just thinking, okay, what sort of delivery I'm going to get and what sort of shot I'm going to execute, and that was brilliant.
And also, like, we're touching upon the calmness and composure, because Rooj, often in these situations, pressure gets the better of you. But it didn't seem like that, just looking at him, considering the fact that he himself mentioned on our pre-show that, he'd been struggling for runs and not like he was in the prime of form overall.
Well, you posed a question to him, didn't you? You said he was 11 of 14, where Daryl Mitchell came on and Lahore just pegged it back. And then Saad Beg came in. I think mentioned to Saad Beg as well. He got, I think, what was it, 25 or 15, 3 fours and a 6. That just provided the impetus when Irfan Khan Niazi came out. It just allowed Irfan to settle a little bit. But when, again, I touched on it before, when you go through your processes, you've got those shots in your locker. It's just about being smart. And like Amir Bhai said, to take Shaheen and Haris Rauf, who in all honesty I thought bowled quite poorly, to put it into perspective, but you can't take away from the striking of Irfan Khan Niazi. Very smart. He toyed with the field in that over from Shaheen. Shaheen got third up, he gave himself room, he played it over third. Then Shaheen pushed third back, he got fine up, he went inside the ball, played it with, and he kept bowling length. But again, to do that requires presence of mind and the artillery that he had in his armour as well, right? So combination of two probably makes him one of the most sought out upcoming finishers in Pakistan cricket. Good signs for Pakistan.
I just want to add one thing. There was a litany of mistakes
Yeah.
as far as Lahore
100%.
Outlook was, that cricket was concerned. But what was disappointing for me, with so much of experience under their belt, they didn't learn from Abbas Afridi, who was looking to bowl Yorkers. They didn't learn from Amir Jamal. They didn't learn from any other bowler. And this was not a sort of a pitch where, as a bowler, you could afford to bowl back of the length. They should have seen that last night when Multan actually won the game. You remember that 6? Which won them the game. It was back of the length delivery. So, with that experience, to make that mistake was actually disappointed. I just want to mention Saad.
Yes.
I was very impressed with that left-hander. The confidence he had, especially with the fact that he was playing his first game. And I think we should, as Pakistani selectors, we should prefer such players. We should not think about aggressors and all that. We should think about complete batters who could actually play the situation in a better way.
Absolutely, some very good points made over there. And, you know, talking about Lahore and their errors, they've, of course, had plenty while they were bowling. But they started things off magnificently today at the top. They were 90 for what, one before that rain interrupted. And really, Mohammad Naeem was absolutely amazing with that knock and really set the tone for them. Let's have a look at some of his super sixes.
Yeah, once again, a really good knock from, again, another find through the ranks coming. And it was important they got off to a fly. They were put into bat, but it's also what they wanted. 5 sixes tonight then from Naeem. And again, in control, back-to-back 50s. And a flurry of shots up the order, which really provide all that impetus in the power play for Lahore Qalandars.
Well, they were 90 for one before the rain break, and of course things were going really well. Fakhr Zaman at the top, in fine form. Mohammad Naeem also chipping in. But after that, they did lose a bit of momentum courtesy Abbas Afridi. Time to revisit some of Lahore Qalandars' wickets.
Yeah, it was good thinking from these two fast bowlers to actually decide which length to bowl. Once they got, adjusted their length and looked to bowl fuller and mixing up with slow deliveries, they were very effective. I should say mighty effective. And that spell actually brought them back into that game.
Yeah, this also was really good. Amir Jamal with that catch, and the wicket just kept tumbling up until that point. Zainab, you mentioned they lost 8 wickets for 32 runs. They went from being 121 for 1 to 153 for 5, and this is where Karachi pegged them back. But they were otherwise staring down the barrel of a very good total. They caught well, they bowled really smart, and Abbas Afridi enjoyed 4 wickets tonight.
Well, Zainab, I just wanted to, raise another concern. Asif Ali hasn't been able to play 10 deliveries in this HBL PSL so far. I mean, his usage tonight should have been much more earlier. And that is the reason why he's been selected to play for Lahore Qalandars. And he hasn't been given the opportunities to actually showcase his talent.
I mean, I know we're talking in hindsight, but do you think, Rooj, Tom Curran was obviously, replaced with Rishad Hussain. They added a spinner instead of that. Yeah. And we've seen how Abbas Afridi was doing really well in these conditions with, bowling the slower ones and the cutters. And do you think perhaps he could have been an option for them, or would you stick to that decision of playing Rishad?
Yeah, I mean, I thought both the captains read the pitch very differently. Karachi continued with the 4 seamers. The one change from Lahore was they dropped their seamer for the leg spinner because Shine at the toss said it's a used surface. The highest score on this surface was yesterday, 157 in a 20-over game. He probably thought make the best use of this surface and probably it turns later on. That's where the leg spinner comes in. So maybe that was the reading, but I think by and large, I think the decision was fine. I think there were 2 decisions were slightly mind-boggling. They gave the ball to Asif Afridi to bowl left arm spin into David Warner, the preferred matchup for David Warner. He took him for 24 in his first over. That provided that impetus and the flair in the power play for the Karachi Kings. And then they just brought it back. And then again, I said this earlier as well. I think it was a very immature bowling display by Shaheen and Rauf to concede 41 runs in 2 overs. That just pegged them back. So I don't think it was too much of in terms of a team selection point of view. I think just the strategy didn't work out.
I think I'm okay with the team selection, and Rishad picked up the most prized wicket of James Vince, who's been prolific in this HBL PSL. But the problem was, once you brought in Daryl Mitchell, that was a brave decision as far as Shaheen Afridi was concerned. But then, after his first over, what was the point of taking him off? One more over from him, a good one, could have sealed the deal for them.
Yeah,
Hindsight is a good thing.
I was just going to say, when a team loses, then you're always sort of reflecting and thinking what they could have done differently. But Ahmed, I mean, it also sort of highlights an area of concern for Pakistan, because you've got two premier fast bowlers in the form of Shaheen Shah Afridi and Haris Rauf, and you know, you look at the struggles that they've had, and often we keep on talking about Pakistan's bowling at the death. I'm just talking about our overall sort of national team. Is it a case of form? Is it a case of, I mean, what are we looking at here?
When you talk about Haris Rauf, how many times we have seen him leaking runs between mid-wicket and fine leg? And then, in a crucial situation, you gave him a field placing like short third man, backward point, nothing saving a boundary at third man. What are you asking him to do? Bowl wicket to wicket, and that's his weakness. And that's where he gives away plenty of runs. So these are the things, player managers, they have to, think about. If they are able to do so, then, Haris Rauf could be a different bowler. But talking about Shaheen Shah Afridi, I don't know who has asked him to bowl round the stumps. What for? I mean, when a batsman is looking to tonk the ball, most of the batters, they are looking to hit towards mid-wicket. And that natural angle helps you as a left-armer. So I don't know who has told him to bowl round the wicket. Yes, you go round the wicket to cut the angle if the ball is reversing. If it's not happening, then you have to stick with the natural left-arm angle. And also, if you're not able to bowl those Yorkers, there is no point changing the angle.
All right, so there's clearly plenty to reflect upon and plenty to discuss and plenty to improve upon from Lahore Qalandars bowling perspective. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with much more, so keep watching HBL PSL. Back on pitch side, and a stunning win by Karachi Kings gives them the points, gives them the confidence. But of course, the man of the hour was Irfan Khan Niazi. And talk more about him, I've got with me Martin Guptill and Dominic Cork. Guppy, just an amazing knock by Irfan Khan Niazi and really changed the game for Karachi Kings.
Yeah, he certainly did. They needed somebody to stand up at that time, and he put his hand up and took the game by the scruff of the neck. And he played some incredible shots. He played with a lot of power, a lot of smarts as well, and got a partnership going when they really needed it with Mohammad Nabi at the end there.
Corky, there's been so much conjecture and talk around Irfan Khan Niazi's skills, the fact that he's got that power, he's got that ability, and we've seen glimpses of it. But tonight was, him really showcasing his talent.
Yeah, and I think when you see that sort of innings, you just think, wow, he's a future, and that's what you want to see from certain individuals in pressurised situations. If we're honest, I think he was helped by some ill-disciplined bowling at times, but ultimately, you've got to hand it to him. I just thought he played smart shots. I like that word, smart. That's a New Zealand word. I like smart. Smart shots, pick your areas, execute, did really well.
I'll tell you who else was smart tonight.
Tell me.
Abbas Afridi.
Was he?
Abbas Afridi in this version, we've seen he's got everything up his sleeve. And there was a point in the game where you thought that Qalandars are really taking things away from Karachi Kings. But then it was the Abbas Afridi show where he got 2 wickets in that over. It's also our turning point of the game.
Certainly was. He got it up his sleeve, as you said. Look at this. What he does do is he creates a little bit of an angle, given out by Alex Wharf. Was reviewed, and it just showed it was going to smash into leg stump. So a big wicket just to break it, and then Daryl Mitchell, who is a New Zealander who does really well here in Pakistan. Back-to-back wickets. Excellent from him.
But just the kind of bowler he is, Koki, just talking about Abbas Afridi, he's got so much variations and there's so much to offer in this particular format. I mean, he's been very impressive even for the Pakistan side.
Absolutely, and that's what you're trying to do as a bowler. You want to create certain things, angles on the crease line. He's got the ability to bowl with, I wouldn't say express pace, but enough pace. He'll tell you that as a batter. But I think you can try and create a little bit of mystery as well. Don't become predictable. Try and change it up a little bit, even if it's slightly going wider. And he's got the ability to get big players out. Darren Mitchell is a very fine player in not just in 2020, in all forms of the game. So it was important then for the Karachi Kings. And David Warne, if you listen to him at the post-match presentation with Sikandar, I know we were talking about Niazi, but he said, I just want to give it to the bowlers, the way that they bowl when they came out after the rain. And he saw what they did to restrict, obviously, Lahore too. Well, they were at 160, but then obviously with DLS went up to 168. So literally the way that they did it, 70 for 7, I think they were in that period. So credit to them, credit to obviously them back-to-back wickets, and it really maybe knocked the stuffing out of the Qalandars.
When they definitely recovered really well after that rain break. And I'll tell you who else recovered really well. It was Amir Jamal, because remember, he dropped that catch of Mohammad Naeem right in the beginning of the innings, but then he took one of Sam Billings, which was always going to be an important wicket. Remember, he's been the man in form for Lahore Qalandars as well. Time to have a look at the safe hands.
And this was a fantastic catch too, because Billings got a good piece of bat on that. He smoked it and he made some good ground to his left. Big dive, reverse cut, stuck in both hands, and had Billings got going there, they could have been chasing 175 plus. It was a great catch in the end.
Mohammad Naeem, then, the belief in him finally came through. He was absolutely magnificent, but he also had a partner on the other end who's been the man in form for Lahore Qalandars. He's been scoring consistently and giving them those starts in the power play. I'm talking about Fakhar Zaman. Time to revisit his boundaries.
It's becoming a bit of a thing, this, talking about Fakhar Zaman and his batting. Early on, making a little bit of room for himself, a bit of angle to get a couple away down the leg side, and then he really took to Mohammad Nabi. Really enjoyed that matchup and used his feet well, hit down the ground for a couple of much-needed maximums in the early stages, and then a little bit of fortune there, but when you're going that hard, things seem to go your way. But he batted beautifully, a lot of power down the ground, really controlled the innings nicely, and just smashed the ball hard, really. It was impressive to watch.
Well, Pakistan is always looking for batters, Koki, who have a bit of power and who can really sort of hit big. I mean, that's been one of the areas in the national side that has been a bit of a concern. And Fakhar Zaman is one who doesn't have that problem, because that ability to hit sixes, just absolutely brilliant today as well.
And when he's in that form, he's one of the best, not just in PSL, but also in the world cricket, because that's what you want in any competition. When you're playing for Pakistan, you're going into these world tournaments, you want somebody like a Fakhar Zaman in form. He's shown that he can do it. And I've always been the sort of man, or sort of coach and sort of commentator, who looks at Fakhar Zaman and thinks, he should be getting more, and that's what I want to see. I want to see more from him. I said early on in the competition, he's the man who's got to bat all the way through for the Qalandars. He's doing it now, and that's why they're getting totals. They should have won the game, let's be honest, today, but that wasn't through him. And Mohammad Naeem was brilliant. I'm pleased for him as well, a young guy who's invested. So the two opening batters for the Qalandars at the moment are doing well.
48 runs in the last 2.3 overs. I mean, really, what went wrong, Guppy? What happened to Lahore Qalandars bowling? It's as simple as that.
And I think you've got to give credit to the Karachi Kings batters too. They played really well. You still got to hit the ball. Yes, a lot of the balls were in the slot to go, but you still have to hit it. And it's not easy when that pressure's on you and you have to be scoring at a good clip. It's easy to lose your shape and it's easy to not hit those balls over the rope. But, I mean, those two batters, they were absolutely brilliant. Nabi taking a lot of pressure off, but he was just fantastic, wasn't he? He just hit the ball so cleanly and just used his brain, really. He didn't try and over-hit the ball. Hit it perfectly in the gaps, over fielders when he needed to.
He's going to say it from the batter's point of view.
Yes.
I'll tell it from the bowler's point of view. If I can't defend that, at the top of my performances when I'm in my peak, I'm disappointed. And it's okay. I get Shine Shah Afridi just brushing it aside, but deep down he's got to feel disappointed. He's a professional, both him and Harris Ralph. 2 Yorkers in 12 balls, that's not good enough. You shouldn't be losing that game. Of course, there'll be certain games you've got to accept that batters can come in and even hit your best balls, somebody who ramps you and hits your Yorkers. But until somebody does that, I think too many times I'm seeing it now that bowlers overthink it and think, I've got to bowl something different. Yorkers work. They just don't bowl them enough. So for me, disappointing. But the batting was excellent. But the bowlers have got to look at themselves and think, we lost that game today.
Well, definitely a lot of things to reflect upon, and I'm sure they're going to be working hard to make sure that those errors are not made once again in the next game. We'll take a short breather on pitch side. See you guys just in a bit. All right, we'll definitely be going back to the break just in a bit. It seems like we want to carry on talking.
Well, why not? We carry on, and I think the one thing we have to just consider over the last couple of nights is actually really good games, and I think that's what we've been craving for in HBL Pakistan Super League. It's close games. We had one in Karachi early on, and we've just had 2 back-to-back games there. We won't, hopefully when we go to Multan, in a few hours, and it won't be long now till we're up that road. But literally, yeah, I think we want a few more close games going into the playoffs.
From a Kings perspective, then, just what a win. They've been, sort of inconsistent, had their share of up and downs. But clearly, this is the kind of win that they perhaps needed, because they've managed to snatch the win from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah, and that can give them the momentum going forward into this last part of the tournament. And they've got a couple of games left where, if they can still finish top of the table. So if they can get that momentum going through, especially in their next game, anything can happen from there. And, you want to be finishing in those top 2 to have 2 bites of the cherry.
Absolutely. Winning is a habit, and that's what we'll hopefully see from Karachi Kings. But fabulous win by them. Now we can finally take a break, though. We'll take a break and we'll be back just in a bit. Well, back on pitch side, and this is what we are looking at. Remember, the top 4 teams have to qualify for the playoffs, and it's Quetta Gladiators, which is the first team that has basically qualified. Yes, that's the news that we have for you. Quetta Gladiators has now officially qualified for the playoffs, and now we have 3 spots up for grabs between Islamabad, Karachi, Lahore, Zalmi, Multan, and let's see. Because definitely this table is getting rather interesting. Well, if the catching in the match, if it's been a bit lackluster, I can tell you in the stands, it's been really good. The effort in the stands has been great. It features in our refreshing moments of the day.
Well, after last night's dramatics in the last over and the 3 drop catches, I hope the players are watching this. This is how you take them, lads. Watch. Absolutely sensational.
Well, it's been absolutely great cricket, a lot of entertainment in Lahore. I mean, just talking about what we've had so far, but I'll tell you what, the action continues in the HBL PSL. A different venue altogether, because Lahore, the first part of the Lahore leg is done, but you'll be able to see Peshawar Zalmi in action once again. Remember, they still have a chance to make it into those playoffs, and they are up against Multan Sultans, who've not really had the best of tournaments. All right then, this is how it is in a couple of hours tonight at 7:50 p.m. This is going to be live from Multan, match 25, Rizwan versus Babar. important game for Peshawar Zalmi.
Absolutely. And 3 games that they can win, all 3, and get into the top 4. So important for that. And playing for pride, the Multan Sultans. Even though they can't get through, it's about winning a game. Can't wait to get back there in a few hours. Come on!
All right, you've got a huge smile. You've got a huge smile as well. This is how we should be really ending things on a positive, energized note. Thank you so much for your thoughts once again. And yeah, it's been a great day of cricket for us in the HBL PSL. 2 back-to-back thrillers in this tournament. Exactly what we needed towards the business end of the tournament. And what a win by Karachi Kings as well. All to play for, like I said. It's 3 spots up for grabs. But that's pretty much all that we have for you from here in Gaddafi Stadium. We'll see you in a couple of days' time back here in Lahore. But until next time, it's goodbye.